Hanna Gerlander.
And I'm Nora Freed.
And you're listening to High Heels and Punchlines.
So much better.
And if you're listening to us on iHeart, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify, please rate and leave a review. And if you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe, like, and comment on the video. And also, if you're looking for more content with us, please subscribe to our Patreon.
We also have an Instagram and TikTok.
Follow them.
So
High Heels and
Punchlines.
Punchlines.
That follow.
All across.
Follow us. Sorry.
Smash that follow,
baby.
I haven't heard that in a
And
while.
you smash it. Woo. And then, and follow us individually as well.
Yeah.
DM
Hannah
us.
_Gerlander.
We've had some really great messages come in.
We have about our clips and stuff. It's been
some
nice.
people have been like, did we have one recently that was like, I needed this?
Yes.
And I was like, oh my God.
And that girl follows me and we went to high school together, but we weren't even close in high school. So I was like,
that was really
she
nice.
needed this to the point where she's like, it's not like a friend who's like, you know how our friends are kind of going like above and beyond and like supporting. She was like just letting us know.
Art, but yeah.
But that, I guess that'll be, we'll discuss that
more messages from some of our friends.
And we'll handle that on the Patreon. Episode 6.
Episode 6.
Secret sex.
I just drank a Diet Coke.
She had a sip. She has not drank a Diet Coke.
I'm a liar. Okay.
Episode 6,
I have a bunch
sex.
of questions for you.
Okay, let me do the highlights of the episode. So I kind of did vague highlights because I feel like, I don't know. Well, you'll see. Like this episode was really Carrie forward. Carrie and Big have their first date. Miranda's date has a very specific fetish. And Carrie's bus campaign launches. And I felt like those were good highlights. And then the question that Carrie posed in her blog, how many of us are having great sex with people we're afraid to introduce to our friends?
That we can talk about. The first thing I want to talk about, though, is if I had sex with someone on the first date and they did not call me for a week, and then they called me and said, I can't stop thinking about you, I would lose my fucking mind.
So for context,
how did that was crazy.
Carrie and Big in this episode, as we know, they have their first official date. Carrie, which we'll get into, wears what Charlotte calls the naked dress. And they go on their first date. They get in the car and they can't resist each other. They have sex immediately. They get Chinese food. They leave.
Have you ever had that happen? I was going to ask you. Have you ever gone on a date and just been like, let's just fuck this date. Let's just hook up.
I'm trying to think. I mean, I've had people, no, I think maybe people that I've slept with before, but never have I, for the first time, had sex with someone where then we like, upon seeing each other, ditch dinner or movie or show. Like,
yeah.
I don't think I have you.
I've had someone come over and we were like having plans to like, but it was like more of like a second date thing. And we were having plans to like eat dinner. And then it was just like, never mind.
We're going to have sex.
Yeah, we're going to just have sex.
I feel like one time I so badly couldn't decide if I wanted to have sex with a guy or not that we went on a whole date. Okay, I just shouldn't have had sex. Actually, the sex was pretty good. But we had a whole date. So that's like 2.5, 3 hours, right? Then he asked to come over. And I said he can't because I have work early in the morning and I have to make, like, I don't have money to buy lunch out tomorrow. Like I need to go home and make one of my HelloFresh meals so I can eat that tomorrow. And he was a chef and he was like, I'll make it for you.
Oh my God. That's amazing.
But I want you to know, I'm sitting there watching him and I'm being a bitch. I'm like, if you're going to cook it though, like you have to clean it up too, which is pushing it once again with men. We go 2.5 hour date, makes the HelloFresh, does my dishes. I am like, and I still am like, I really don't think I want to have sex with him. But at that point, and I know that most people listening are going to be like, you didn't have to. But I did have to. I obviously had to. He had just made dinner and done not just the dishes from making the meal.
He did the dishes.
He did extra dishes. Like he did whatever was in the sink. The sex ended up being good. But I think I was just like, I just couldn't believe how much I was getting out of this man just for sex.
That is really crazy. But that's.
And he's probably one of the only, we'll get into this obviously, but in the theme of secret sex, like he's probably one of the few people, I have like a handful of people that like, I didn't really tell people about.
I unfortunately have some people that I really wish I hadn't told people about. It was kind of like that moment when Samantha was listing off all our people and Carrie was like, yep. And he was in high school. And that was
shocking.
I haven't done the high school thing, but I'm just saying like, and we'll get there, but
We'll get
Charlotte
there.
having, you know what's about to go
I know
down.
what's going down.
I hooked up with a Hasidic man.
Okay. You are Charlotte.
I literally am Charlotte.
Wow.
He didn't look like that.
Okay.
I do a bit on this. He was a undercover Hasidic man.
Okay.
I'm Jewish, by the way, so I can say all of this.
Mm-hmm.
He was just
I don't
hot.
think you've said anything bad.
Okay. Sorry.
Did you though?
Well, I guess if
I was saying
we're
this,
clearly
not
like
Jewish.
laughing about it. Yes.
Well, because I'm also picturing Charlotte's Hasidic man.
That was not the vibe.
Okay.
He was just really hot, came in, was being hot, and he didn't
have
I literally in my stand-up bit, I'm like, he didn't have the dinglings or the ropes.
That's what I want to know.
He didn't have them. So it was totally like I mentioned I was Jewish. He was like, I know. He said it on your profile. And I was like, okay.
I was like, what?
And then I was like, and then as we kind of kept going with the date, he disclosed that he goes to synagogue multiple times a week. And I was like, whoa. And then I don't know how this always happens. I always end up looking at a guy's phone on the first date. Like something happens where they're showing me a picture or like they leave their phone and I'm like,
you go through it.
I don't go through it, but like it buzzes
great.
and then I see their background or something. Like I'm not going to go through their phone. But like with him, he left his phone on the table and he had it on like locked and he just left it there and it had a rabbi as the background. And I was like, and then when he came back, I was like, I saw your phone background. He was like, what? Why were you going through? I was like, no, I didn't go through your phone. You just like left.
I saw your background.
Yeah, I saw your background and I saw it was a rabbi.
I saw the rabbi.
I was like, how Jewish are you? And
he was like, really?
Yeah. He was like, I can't take you home. He can't have women in the house. He couldn't have women in the house. That was like a thing.
Did he go to your house? Or he went to your house?
No, I mean, it was the summer.
What does that mean? You did it in the street? It was the summer.
We just had like a fun little, it wasn't like a full hookup. No, it wasn't a full hookup. We were just like making out.
This summer.
On a stoop, we just made out for a while.
Okay.
And it was hot and it got a little steamy.
Hot.
I wouldn't say it was like full blown. We did not have sex. So maybe I should stop calling it a hookup, but it got a little crazy. And I definitely I feel weird about it now.
Okay.
And so when Charlotte was disclosing that, I was like, God damn it.
And I really empathize. And obviously now we're starting to jump around a bit, but like, how mortifying for Char. This is a secret she kept. And now Carrie and Samantha, who I guess the publicist and the writer just free in the middle of the day, showing up at Charlotte's job to confront her about having sex with this Hasidic man. I was like, Char's like, also, she's not like alone in some office and can close the door. She's like at the front desk.
I would totally do that.
I said Nora, voice memo. I was like, I feel like you and I would be friends that would show up like, Nora just told me who you slept with. Why didn't I know about this?
The Hasidic man thing, there were moments where I was like, I think I can do this. I can get the skirt. I can do this. Because he was really hot. And I was like, I am Jewish at the end of the day. Like, let's just go a little harder.
And you liked his personality?
And I liked his personality. He was really hot. And
he didn't mind you kind of like making fun of the rabbi background?
I mean, he did say, he was like, you can't wear what you're wearing like if we were to meet any of my family or anything. And I'm like, oh, but it was July and I was wearing like a little strappy dress. And he was like, and then he said that on Fridays he turns off his phone for Shabbat. And that also was a big hit for me because I was like, oh, like if I text him and he doesn't answer, it's not me, it's Shabbat.
Yeah. That'd
and
be amazing.
So, yeah, I know.
To know
his phone's off.
Yeah.
And he says he throws a party every Friday and women are allowed over but everyone has to wear a long sleeve shirt and long skirt. And I was like,
you have a long sleeve shirt?
I know, but it was July. I was like, do you have air conditioning? And then he was like, I didn't invite you to this.
And you're like, I'm trying to get down the facts, the figures, if I can make it.
I was like, well, do you feel like this is going somewhere? Like, would you invite me to Shabbat dinner? And he's like, I don't can we just get through the date?
Wow. Kind of rude.
But then we were making out. He saw it.
Yeah. What kind of hot?
He was very attractive. I
compare him to a celebrity.
He kind of looked like what's his name from Gossip Girl? Dan. Paul.
Wow.
He was really hot.
Whew. Okay. Yeah, I would have bought the skirt.
I know.
I would have tossed on my skirt.
You're
and
like,
now he's making it this thing like, who's going to be the girl that gets to go home? Like, no women are allowed. Like, who's going to be the special chosen girl?
I know.
I would have made it such a competition. Like, it must be me.
I kind of felt that way. And then it didn't.
Yeah, really different from Charlotte's situation.
Yeah,
Charlotte's was shocking, actually.
That guy was really random.
I feel like in season 1, they're real more than they do in later seasons, make Char's priority. Like, Char loves art and she loves artists. Like, Char, who like is kind of reserved and stuff, gets her vagina painted in episode 5 because she loves the artist, Charlotte sleeps with this man who's like totally not her type at all, but because of his art. Like, it's just so not Charlotte for the rest of the series.
Have you ever slept with someone or like been into someone just because of what they do? Because I'm so like that with musicians. You pick up a guitar, let's fucking go. Not me.
Wolf is always throwing that guitar in my face. I'm like,
I'm literally just like, the second I see anyone playing music, I'm like, oh my God.
We have a problem where he will play like emo songs and I sing, but I sing the way like you would sing a Broadway show tune. And he's like, let's just stop. I'm like, let's take it again. He's like, it's not. And I was like, could you just learn something from Wicked?
Come on.
I'm like, come on. But no, I don't have that about careers. I mean, I have like certain jobs I really can't sleep with you.
Oh, really? What are those?
Like I can't sleep with someone who just like doesn't have something they're excited about.
Yes. And we've talked about this.
Yeah.
I dated
like
someone recently.
If you're working like a sales job and you don't do anything outside of that and you kind of are just like going through the motions, I'm like, what are we doing here?
I dated someone briefly who had no passion and complained about his life a lot, and it really bothered me. And I was like, okay, you don't have to be like, I don't need you like painting in the park every day, but just like have something that gives you a little joy, man. Like, come on.
And then when it, and also even if you're kind of down on yourself, like, let's see you trying to turn it around. It's hard to be with someone when they're like, they don't have something and they're down on themselves and they're just kind of like sitting in it.
And they keep complaining about you. And I'm fine even. Like I've been on dates with fitness guys. Like we have that in common. That can be your hobby. I don't give a shit. Like
just something that makes you feel good, that you care about.
I went out with the bodybuilder. Like it's fine.
That's an absolute brag.
It wasn't great.
Okay. But like
too big. Their personalities are not that great, but it's like we talked about fitness for a while. I'm into fitness. He is too. We talked about like lifting and running and whatever. And like that can be your thing, but just to have nothing is so not hot. Okay. Anyways, speaking of gym, why is Miranda always meeting people at the gym?
No, I don't know why. And I also could not believe. So Miranda like accidentally, she like kicks him or punches him in the face.
She punches him in the face.
If that happened to me, like, even if it was like to me, like the hottest guy in the world, like, you're not getting a date with me. Like, you're getting a lawsuit. Like I couldn't believe Miranda got a date with this guy after that.
It's really crazy. Yeah, and this is not going to be her first time that she meets someone at the gym.
No, it is not.
No, it is not.
I thought that was nuts, but I kind of liked this storyline for Amanda. Oh my God.
Who's Amanda?
For Miranda, because first things first. Okay, so I guess Skipper's dead. I guess Skipper's over.
He was always kind of dead.
Like I don't know if in this storyline, because I actually don't really remember a lot of season 1 in this rewatch. I'm realizing most of my rewatches, I think I started like in the middle of season 2 or whatever. But like I don't know how it ends with her and Skipper. So I'm like, is he just like probably like calling her a bunch and she's like sleeping with this guy, or has she just like forgotten about him, written him off?
I was glad to not see him again.
I know you were.
Yeah, sorry.
This guy though
really annoys me.
I liked him for her. Like they're at the gym together, which is it's hot meeting someone at the gym. Like you're both like sweaty and amped up. Like the endorphins are running. Like I feel like it's hot to meet someone at the gym. Ideally, you don't meet someone after getting punched in the face by them, but like you win some, you lose some.
Yeah.
Lucky Miranda in gay gym clothes gets a date with this guy. She couldn't have looked gayer at the gym, in my opinion. Okay. I just like now knowing what happens, it's the signs were all there the whole time. But then I like the story. They go back, they have a great night of sex. He's like, stay at my place. And what I liked from Miranda, obviously didn't go well for her. She snooped around his apartment and finds that he has all these like porn, like has all this porn and all these videos of like men getting spanked. Obviously we can talk about why we think her bringing this up to him was like a turn off, but like, I was like, good for her. Cause Miranda's kind of like big boss in charge. I like the idea that she like saw this and was like, I can do this for him. Like, I like this guy. I'm going to offer to spank him because that's what he likes. I feel like we haven't gotten Miranda like trying to, Miranda's always like, this is who I am. Take it or leave it. I'm not changing for a man. But like, no one's asking you to change for a man, Miranda, whatever. But I liked it for her.
I thought that was very telling of the time because she specifically was like, I have to, or the Carrie's narrating in the background that she has to snoop around specifically to find pictures of his ex-girlfriends. Yeah. And I'm like, that is so, like, we already have that.
Yeah.
If I need to find your ex-girlfriend, like,
I'm not looking in your room.
I've got 2 gays, 2 girls. We're detectives. Yeah. We can find her.
I'm not looking. And also like in these days, I'm not looking in your room for like traces of an ex-girlfriend.
I also like, I don't know.
Have you ever snooped around a guy's apartment?
I was going to ask you that. I haven't. I feel like my apartment's really fun to snoop in. And I'm sure there have been some people that have snooped.
I always wonder
because
if
my
Wolf
apartment, I have little like tchotchkes and little notes everywhere and little photos.
Your apartment would be really fun to
It's
snoop.
really, and there are secret things in little places that I think it's
You're
like
making it snoopable.
It's snoopable.
You would like someone to snoop it.
It's snoopable. So when people stay at my house, I'm like, they're snooping around. I have so many little cards and little things.
I always wonder if Wolf snooped around my apartment ever, because I have left him at my place alone much more than like he's ever left me. But Wolf is like so like trusting. Like he has no desire to like dig up more than I've like served him.
I don't think men do that.
I've never snooped in his apartments. Since we've been together, he's been in 2 different places. He just like is a typical guy that doesn't have like a lot of stuff.
Well, that's the other thing.
He's not in like his apartment that he has by himself, that he's furnished and has his whole life. And like, he's also living with other people who have like done like if I were to snoop in the living room, like I'm snooping through multiple people's stuff. Like it's not like just Wolf's stuff out there.
Ted's house, was his name Ted?
His place was crazy. So
that
80s.
Was insane. And he's what? He's 32 or something? Great.
So 80s though, that decor.
Yeah, it was crazy. But I think it was a 2-floor house or apartment. But one thing I will say,
Miranda was like, I'll get into this for him.
Yeah, I was so here for Ted, and I didn't.
Too.
She really fucked that up.
Why do you think so what happens at the end of the day is Miranda suggests that she'll spank him. She kind of says it in a flirty way.
Yeah, and then I don't think what we learned about this, I don't think that he was upset that she brought up the spanking. I feel like deep down he probably was like, why were you snooping around my apartment?
See, but like
they made it seem like he was just upset about the spanking. And I was like, I don't think that that's the real, like, I would be so freaked out if someone's like, I found that letter from your grandma.
Well, I don't think they would bring that up the way they would bring up the spanking. But if you had like a bunch of porn of like, I don't know, of something specific.
I would be so weirded out that you went through my stuff.
You'd be upset if a guy found your porn and then that night, like, introduced it to you when you guys were hooking up.
Yeah, I would hate that. I just don't want people
really that I didn't have to bring this up.
Well, also,
if Wolf just knew to pretend to be my stepbrother.
Oh, Jesus Christ, Hannah!
I'm kidding. Kidding, kind of. But I feel like they were trying to make it that he was like embarrassed. Yeah. I'm like, I don't think he was embarrassed. Like, why would he be?
I mean, yeah, she's
on board with it.
Yeah,
maybe he doesn't know her well enough to think that she's on board. Maybe he thought she was making fun of him.
I don't know. It seemed to really, it's really the snooping for me.
It would bug you?
Yeah, it would really, it would be weird.
About just like a few minutes ago.
You were I was saying I have a snoopable apartment. And I understand
you'd be fine with the snooping, but you don't want it brought up to you.
I never said you can snoop. I just said I have a snoopable
it'd be
apartment.
fun to snoop, but you don't want people.
I don't
to
want
snoop.
people snooping, but
I want people to snoop.
Really?
Yeah, I want someone to like comment on my little stuff.
When I die, I need to do this soon. Not
will?
like soon. Huh?
A will?
Not a will. A snooping guide to my apartment.
Oh, yeah.
Because certain things, there's certain areas. I've lived in that apartment for 9 years. There are certain things that like I have 3 closets, 4 closets, 3 closets. It's 3. Okay. I have 3 closets. And there are little things everywhere. When my mom moved out of her house in our home in DC, I had to take all my stuff from my childhood and bring it here, like anything I wanted. So I just want you to like, and you're now taking on this role.
I'm
like,
proud
there's certain like there's like a stack of journals in a bookcase. Don't look at those.
Okay.
Just throw them in a fire.
This is really funny because, well, it's funny for actually a lot of reasons. But my friend Ryan will tell you that I fully would like everyone to read my diaries like at my funeral, because you'll see, I'll let you read one whenever you want. I don't even think I have the ability to be alone with myself, because I'm even writing in my journals, hey, everybody, like I'm like writing as if someone will see it. Like I want to be seen so bad. Like I want people to know what's going on.
Do you want me to read your
there.
diary then?
I feel like if I don't want something known,
Why would you put it on paper?
Diary. It's not going in the diary.
I had big phases of like all your deepest, darkest secrets. Not that I have like a ton of dark secrets, but just like things that I felt about certain people that like I just, it's please just burn them. Just burn them.
Okay. When you pass, I will make sure to show people the clip from this podcast episode about how I'm in charge of burning your journals.
You can have most of my clothes.
Thank you.
I'm sure other people are going to want them too. So you want, so that's a big thing.
That's a little stressful.
Anyways, one last thing I wanted to say about the Hasidic guy. Okay. Charlotte's saying, we talked about art, sex, and the Torah. That was like such a good line.
It really was. And such good foreshadowing, because Charlotte eventually converts. So speaking though of probably the main part of this episode, which was not Miranda and the gym guy, is Carrie and Big are about to have their first date. Carrie has voiced that she really wants to have sex with him. All the girls in the cutest way ever. All the girls come over before her big date with Big, and she's wearing the naked dress, and they're talking about it, and they're having a debate, which is similar to the last episode about like to have sex with him or to not have sex with him. I wanted to know if you agree with Char's 5-day holding pattern. I'm like, do you think it's smart? Or do you think it's?
Hannah, I'm so lost on this. I'm so lost.
Okay, well,
it's something that's bothering me right now.
I'll guide you.
I've been going on a lot of dates,
now.
and I just feel lost because I'm like, I don't know. Like, I've gotten so much misinformation.
Lost, like because of your memory problem, you don't remember this from the episode.
No.
That's why I was like, I will guide you.
No, I need you to guide me in this other thing, though.
Oh, yeah, that's so funny.
I went out with that guy on Thursday. At the end of the date, he was kind of looked at me and he was like, so I'm going to go home. I said, okay. Like, and he kind of gave me a look. Else. He's like, do you have plans after this? And it's like, should I just ask? Should I be like, are you trying to ask me to go home with you? Right. And if I do go home with you, do you think I'm a slut? Like, and will you call me after? Like,
just ask.
Can we, or do we have to have sex when we go to your house?
I felt like Charlotte with this 5-day holding pattern of like the going on the dates. And first things first, for 2024, if you don't hear from someone for 5 days, you're not hearing from them again.
That was the craziest thing about Big.
For Big, and Charlotte saying like, with 5 days in between a guy, even when I was dating, like if I went on a date with a guy, I didn't think I was going to be a week until I saw them again if it went well. Like it was like, we go on Tuesday night, now we're going to see each other this weekend. Like this 5-day, that's a long time.
It was hell.
And I think maybe it's social media now. Yeah. It's because you can see what people are doing. You can see what's going on. You have so much more access that's like 5 days, but you're aware when they're doing everything and nothing. It feels very like isolating. Like, why aren't I seeing you? But I guess when you genuinely, they're just working and living their lives. You have no access to seeing what they're doing outside of what they've told you. 5 days is normal.
The 5 days was crazy. And I just feel like
Big is playing with her mind.
Okay.
Doesn't call for 5 days. I would be in a spiral. Calls, says he can't stop thinking about me. I would spend 5 days. I'd spend 2 days on cloud 9. Okay, so wait, what we're talking about is Carrie and Big get in the car on the first date.
They have sex and then
sex
then
immediately.
she's trying to figure out if she fucked up.
Yeah. And then I would spend 2 days in bliss, right? Like 2 days is normal to not hear from them.
No.
The next couple days.
It would be 12 hours for me.
Really?
I would be freaking out after 12 hours.
I think I could make it 2 days.
I couldn't make it 2 days. You know me. I'd be completely out of my mind.
But at this day and age.
Huh?
Think back to like the 90s though. There's no social media. You could do 2 days.
I don't know.
Okay.
I really
you know
need
what?
I
We'll
just
never
need
know.
like a check-in. Just like a, hey, that was fun.
Actually, when I really think back to when I was dating, like I don't think I ever left a date without us deciding right in front of each other when we were going to see each other again. Because I knew I couldn't handle it.
I tried to do that with the Hasidic guy. I was like, so Shabbat dinner?
Yeah, you
and
were
he
like
was
just trying to get
hold
something on the
I'm not allowed to bring
cow.
women to my house. Okay.
And you're like, I actually heard about the skirt. So let's relax. Like I think Carrie is stronger than me. Like I've
had a couple people be like, okay, so I'm going to this thing next week. Do you want to come? Or like, but I don't initiate it.
So I would always leave a date and I'd be like, what'd you think of that? And they would tell me and they were like, I had a lot of fun. And then if I was horny, I'd be like, do you want to come over? And then after the sleeping together, I'd be there. No one could sleep over. When I was dating casually, like no one could sleep over. But before they left, I'd be like, when am I seeing you again? And then I'd tell, like, they wouldn't be like, oh, I'll text you. I'd be like, no. When's our next date? You said you had fun. You said you want to see me again. We just had great sex. You're welcome. When am I seeing you again? And then they'd tell me and I'd be like, awesome, I'll see you then.
Hannah, I need to like channel you.
But only because I spent so long in the dating world, so anxious, like, are they gonna text me? Did they actually like me? And then I was like, I can just ask. And if they're turned off by that, thank God, because this is what it's really like to be with me. So
I went home with this guy from a party. This was like last year. And it was my friend's party. And we went home and we were hitting off the party. He comes home with me. We hook up and then he sleeps over. I make us do eye masks in the morning. I make us juices.
Nice.
I was so hospitable and I didn't even like him that much. And when he left, I was so glad. And then he asked me to hang out again. And I was like, no. But I was like,
why'd you make him the juice?
Because I don't know. It's like the Jewish mother in me. I was like, do you need anything? Like, do you need another pillow? Like, I don't know. I was just really
an eye
like,
mask and a fresh juice.
Well, I was putting on an eye mask. So I was like, I'm not going to just do it in front of him.
And guys love little glamour stuff.
Yeah, he loved it. He was like, you do this all the time. It's amazing.
Wolf always comes to bed smelling like my expensive skincare.
Really?
And I'm like, what is that? He's like, just a little rose serum. I'm like, oh, just a little.
This
little
guy,
$40 rose
I
serum.
only liked him. And I think this is why, because he was a sculptor.
Well, that's hot.
And it was hot.
Artists are hot.
Yeah. I was like,
artists that feel no ego of like a performer are hot.
Yeah. He had an ego.
Oh, okay.
He would not stop talking about it.
But not the need to be in the limelight. Like I feel like going out with an actor and going out as a sculptor are two really different vibes.
He was like listing all of the museums that he's in. And like when I didn't even know some of the museums, he was like, oh, what? And I was like, I can't.
No, that's, and like.
Why did I make it? What is wrong with me? I'm so crazy.
No,
why did I make him juice?
I don't know. I get that though.
I'm not doing that anymore.
So, good for you.
Thank you.
The juicing is over.
I'm not
juicing
that.
Nora's, forget it.
Yeah, fuck you.
So I wrote that I love the girls staying at Carrie's while she's out on the date. That just like, I know that these girls are in their 30s, but like that just took me back to college, like getting ready in your room with everybody. And then like they stay there, especially in college. Like I was not signing people into my dorm all the time. Like it was just so fun. Like she just has this built-in little gossip circle.
Yeah, it is really nice.
So then what happens, obviously, her and Big have sex and then they go get Chinese food. And that is when we meet a guy who I couldn't fucking stand, Mike, who is there. And once again, Carrie, I think, crossing a line as a friend, she goes over. So he's at the same Chinese restaurant that Carrie and Big are at. Carrie goes over. Mike's on a date with this woman. I don't remember her name. It was like Tilly or something.
She was a cheese person.
And that cheese scene was cute.
It was sweet. I really didn't like how he was treating her. It was how
I didn't either.
And when Carrie came up to him, she was like, "Is it too naked for you?"
I
was like,
I really think Carrie is like not a girl's girl. If I was on a date,
definitely not.
If I was on a date with Wolf, and we're out at a restaurant,
my foot's purple and then one toe is pink.
Why?
I don't know. What do you think's happening?
Like a corpse. What's happening?
I don't know.
Did you have shoes on?
No.
Put your shoes back on.
Okay.
But maybe not.
No. I'll just leave it. It's not crazy though.
Wait, hold it up.
Well, this is what we wanted. We want someone to zoom in on my foot.
Oh my God,
Maxim, can you see my foot?
What's going on? Wait.
Isn't that crazy?
Does this happen to you a lot?
No, it's just my feet are like cold, I guess, or something.
Ugh,
I love your pedicure.
My feet are dry.
Sorry.
For those of you who are not watching, Nora just held up her foot to show me the discoloration, and then the silence and sounds was just us reacting to it.
Mike sucks. Like
what we learned about Mike is that he is on a date with this woman, and when him and Carrie are talking about it, we learn that Mike takes her to this restaurant because this is a girl he wouldn't date publicly,
which is so and
then he describes her as warm and kind and funny and great in bed, and I'm like, so just because you have decided she's not up to your standard of looks, like, so you use her for sex and her kindness, and she probably thinks she's in something great. Like, I just thought it was all so gross.
It's so upsetting, and I love that she leaves him in the end.
Yeah,
to find someone who's more emotionally intelligent.
Yeah,
or emotionally or romantically intelligent, something like that.
One of those, smarter.
Yeah, he's so cringy. Well, also, why did he come to the bus party? That was weird. We've never met him. Skipper should have been there. Honestly,
this whole first season, I feel like they're testing out. I feel like they're trying to make Carrie seem really connected, but I'm like, this is weird. Also, once again, I'm sorry. If I was dating Mike and then Mike told me that Carrie, the girl who came over at dinner and asked if she looked too naked in her dress, went with me to buy bed sheets at Bed Bath & Beyond. And at one point I was laying in the fake bed and she was laying on my chest giving me relationship advice. Yeah, I'm going to watch her bus advertisement, which is all about her sex column tomorrow. I'd be like, are you in love with Carrie?
It seemed like he was.
It just seemed like I really think Carrie, and maybe at the end of the day, maybe I am the problem, not Carrie. But Carrie is giving me like, if I was dating any of them, like if I was dating Skipper, if I was dating Mike, and they were telling me about what they did, like when they hung out with Carrie, like I'd be deeply uncomfortable. I'd be like, what do you mean she changed in front of you? What do you mean you guys laid in the bed at bed? Why'd you even go sheet shopping with her?
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. That was really sketchy.
Weird to me.
I thought it was just weird how he addressed her, and he was like, "You don't look too naked," blah blah. And it was like weird.
And
he
then
was, like,
doesn't introduce her to the girl.
That was really upsetting.
This was and like obviously that whole scene was just to pose the question of like Carrie being worried that she was secret sex to Big. Like Big didn't want people to know about her. But I also thought like, damn, I just lost it. I was so heated about it too.
Yeah, I was here for it. I was like,
ready to say it. Yeah. Let's think for 2 more seconds. I don't have it.
I mean, I'm not going to have it. I'm losing my memory. Big, the way that Big explained himself so casually when she showed up drunk to his house, and he was like, I had courtside tickets to the Knicks, and like I love that Chinese restaurant. It's like, shut up.
Oh, no, I would have been all the way in.
I mean, I would have. Oh yeah, I would have believed it.
I show up drunk, like, make myself a drink.
He's just he's so annoying.
No, even like I was really thinking about it. Like right after she shows up in her outfit before they first date. And she's like, what do you think? Like, and he was like,
that's a dress.
He was like, that's a dress. And then after they have sex, he was like, I thought it was great. Want to get food? Like, I'm like, he's giving us nothing.
He's so not hot in that whole episode.
He really isn't. And
he doesn't look good.
And I thought the redeeming moment, like when he gives her that list, I feel like he's making her like out like, you're being crazy. I wasn't being crazy. I was like, no, like you guys have met multiple times, finally have your first date, you had sex. Like, why didn't you just call the next day and say, I can't stop thinking about you. When can I see you next? Like, he's like, this is why I couldn't see you. You're crazy, not me. And then he picks her up, and then I'm going to guess they had sex again, even though she's wasted. it was an icky, I liked him picking her up, but just because I like to be carried around. But like, so in that moment, I watched that with Wolf and he didn't like that. He picked her up and I was like, whoo. And he was like, I carry you around and you don't make noises like that. And I was like, but I'm thinking it.
Yeah.
When he picks me up and takes me places in the apartment.
That's cute. That's sweet.
My apartment's just small, so it's not really that.
It's not like
it's not a long ride.
Big's apartment is big.
Yeah.
Which we know. But I think that Big is just so, the way that he's like, I didn't know the guy's name that I went skiing with in Aspen. Like, well, I just like, I don't believe any of it.
Why
I don't
believe any
of it.
This is Carrie.
Yeah, and then they would say their name. That's a classic
then you learn
out.
His
like,
name.
It's just, but this is a question I do have, and I would ask you this even outside the pod.
Okay.
Do you text after the first date, or do you wait for him to text?
Well, unfortunately, I told you that we set the date before the date ends. Like I've set on date 1, I'm setting date 2. So normally I don't care if he texts me or I text him. It'll normally just be a confirmation. Like if I haven't heard from him, but we've made a plan for Sunday, I'll text on Saturday, like we still on for tomorrow.
Okay.
But if nothing is set, I am waiting for a text from you.
Okay. Because I said this on Thursday, on the date I went Thursday, he was like, we should hang out again. And I said, okay, you have my number. And he's like, you're not going to text me. And I was like,
of course not.
I was like, no, like the girl doesn't text, the guy has to text. And he was like, oh, like, and then he was acting really weird after that. And I was like, and then I was like, I'm sorry, I don't know. Someone told me that once, that you're supposed to do that.
I mean,
sorry, can I say one more thing?
Oh yeah, of course.
The thing that I've learned, if men like you, they will go out of their way to find you.
Yeah.
You do not need to text them.
You don't.
And when a man is not into you, we hear it later from Miranda, he's just not that into you.
Yeah.
That's a different episode. But there's no reason why they want to go home.
If he wants to, he will.
And it's just so irritating because then I'm like, I tell guys this and they're like, well, I would like if you texted. And I'm like, no, you wouldn't.
I also think though that there is, like, I don't want to give men that much power though, because I'm kind of like, I'm just a person with a schedule. I'm trying to make my weekend plan. Like, I should be able to text you like, hey, are we hanging out again? So I can get a yes or no, so I can get on with my life. Like, I don't want them to have all the power over the second date, like, and there shouldn't be a like, oh my God, she's so much more into him than he is into her just because she texted him, like that shouldn't be the case. Obviously I haven't dated in now 2 years, but like, I think I only ever would text a guy first if the date was already planned.
Okay.
But I think in this situation, Carrie, of course, was not going to call Big.
I have a friend who's like,
Carrie's responsibility. It was Big's responsibility to call Carrie.
One of my friends is like, you never text, you never initiate anything. She's like, that's the only way. I was like, okay.
I mean,
but I'm not a great texter, but when I do text, I'm texting like, I do like little chunks.
Yeah.
I'm really into the
I know how you're texting.
I'm like, just like, here are my thoughts. And I would like to be able to text someone like that, but then I'm like, I have to say something like, hey, last night was fun.
But if you don't read it in that voice, just like, hey, last night was fun.
My friend, I was with her last night. She has a really sexy voice and she does voice memos.
I used to voice memo guys.
Like before she even meets up with them.
You just need to, I think with dating, you just need to, which is what I did towards the end. Like, you just need to be like, no, like, this is what I want. This is how this is going to go. I feel the most comfortable when if you said you like me, you said you want to go out with me again, or we just had sex, like, I need a second date planned. And like, I don't care who texts anyone. We made the plan. Like, I'll just text you to confirm it. Like,
okay.
And like, I feel like you just need to put it all out there. So that way, you don't need to, because dating shouldn't be causing so much anxiety. Okay. It's causing all these girls so much anxiety.
Okay. I'm going to do what you do. What you did.
Yeah,
I'm going to switch it up.
Just tell them.
I'm I'm not going to let them.
But I thought Mike, going back to don't let them.
I'm not going to let them.
Wow, I wrote so much about Carrie being not a girl's girl.
She sucks. Sorry,
But you know who is a girl's girl?
Who?
Samantha is an amazing friend in this episode.
Yeah.
Carrie's bus ad premieres, and it's a picture of her in the naked dress, and it says Carrie Bradshaw knows good sex. And it's like an ad for her column. Samantha, even when Carrie's nervous, Samantha loves it. And Carrie's like, Samantha makes a disappointing situation seem like hopeless. And I'm like, no, she's a publicist. She's telling you it's great. She's so excited for you. She's throwing you a bus party in the rain. Like, I thought Samantha, and then they're standing there on the side of the street in the rain with champagne and party hats, like watching the bus go by. I was like, Samantha is such a good friend. She's like, Carrie, you're like, this is a huge moment. Like, you're not ruining this moment, you know? I thought it, even when Carrie was like upset Big wasn't there, Samantha was like, oh, he should have been here. This is important to you. You know, like Samantha was like, this is big. This is important. This is exciting. And like being on the side of the bus is a big deal.
It is a big deal.
And for Carrie and her career, it's a big deal.
Although in the end, she said, don't worry. No one even notices a bus until it's going to hit you. And I do kind of resonate with that.
Because the bus rolls up and what's
and then
on it?
She has a big dick in her mouth. On her mouth, on her face.
How could she be shocked?
Like, obviously.
How could she? Every poster of a woman in New York, there's a dick next to her
There's
face.
a dick or a mustache or she has hair somewhere.
Or someone has just like written like what's going on politically over it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
like,
just, it wasn't shocking to me at all.
Carrie's reaction, this is when Carrie like bums me out. Cause like, if this was us, you know, if that was my ad, like we would just laugh. Like
we would be cracking up. We'd go and we'd stop the bus and draw more dicks.
Yeah, we'd like absolutely tell everyone on the bus like, this is me.
This
like,
is
the
me.
Dick girl.
The dick girl. That's me.
Like we'd take a picture with it.
Yeah.
Like I thought the reaction to it. Oh, this is what I also wanted to say about this episode. I think this is my favorite Charlotte episode in terms of like putting her foot down in terms of like, I believe you haven't heard from Big because you slept with him on the first date. Because I feel like
that'd be so annoying to hear though.
It'd be annoying to hear, but it was like, I think she was kind of right. Like, I think there was no mystery or intrigue. Like, you know, like,
well, we have to remember that he was like finding my friends on her for a really long time.
Stalking her, yeah.
So he was running around like the city. They were bumping into each other. They bumped into each other at like a bris. Like it was crazy. So there was kind of like they knew. Like, it wasn't shocking to me that they hooked up the first time because it was like they had seen each other in the scene.
But I felt like continually, like, we see Carrie making Big out to be like, she kind of thinks he's the one. Like, she's even like talking about how like this is a guy she would want to date. And like, we just don't know that about Big, you know? Like, Big seems kind of like they had plans to hang out multiple other times. And he like went to the club and left early. And then he like brought on their dinner date and brings his single friend. Like Big is someone like we don't actually know if he's like a good guy or not. So it's like, are we that shocked that you went on the date, had sex, had dinner? Like, I don't know. We don't know that Big is like a good, honest guy who's going to call you.
I think I would be mainly upset that he took me to the same Chinese restaurant twice. That's not that great. And he has all this money.
All this money.
I'm like, come on.
All
like,
this money.
Take me to Balzac or whatever it is.
Take me to
Balzac.
Take
like,
no,
like, let's go somewhere fancy.
She should be there with Amelita.
The same place.
That was me trying to get
same place
and
twice.
He was like,
I'd be
sorry,
pissed. He's like, sorry, I love this place.
This
it's like, that
Chinese
is not a good
food.
excuse.
Also, like, you go to the same place over and over again when you're married or when you're in a long-term relationship and you love that place. It's, you know, the food's always good. You're like, can we just go to our place? Like, you don't take your second date to the same restaurant.
Yeah.
Especially when you have money. Impress her. Make a reservation somewhere. Show up. Say like, I'm on the list and have them, you know what I mean? Like, I think that was like, if I was Carrie, I would have been like, what the fuck?
Yeah, Big.
I don't know if I agreed with her showing up drunk and doing that little spiel. Good for her.
Yeah. It was a little over the top, but I do feel like she definitely had a point.
It was the making her own drink that I was like, all right.
She's like, it's like, you've only been to this house once.
She's like at the bar spilling. It's just vodka she puts in the drink.
That was a little crazy, but I think also it's something that now with technology you would have had like a text about. But in that time, before phones and not before phones, before
watching this though, like makes me sad. Like I'm like, I hated dating in the world of social media.
Mhm.
And like even right
It
now,
is really hell.
like I feel like there's struggles sometimes in my relationship if like I'm waiting for him to respond about something and I see him share something on Instagram and then I jump to this assumption like, oh, like social media is just more important than getting back to me. It's like, you know what I mean? Like if there was no social media, like I would just assume the best of him. I would assume like, oh, he's probably working or like he just hasn't seen the text yet. You know what I mean? But like all these other things infiltrate your brain with these ideas of like, what's more important than what and who's really the priority. It's like, oh, you can post online, but you can't text you back, like stuff like that. And it's like, I wish that was all gone. Like,
yeah.
I wish like, especially when I was dating, not like currently with Wolf, but like, it would have been so nice to be like after like a third date when now you follow each other on social media and stuff, right? If when they were like, okay, I'll see you on Saturday. If I saw nothing about what happened in between that date and Saturday, it makes it
so much sexier.
It does
to not be texting someone constantly,
and it's like, ugh.
It's really sad. Although I do have to say, like when we come to this place to record, I get really excited to see you, and we do text a lot.
Yeah, but I think we text a lot about business.
We do. And so when I see you, I'm like, let's chirp.
Now it's fun time.
Yeah, it's fun.
I thought you were like doing a spin-off joke. That's why I gave you that look about like Nicole Kidman's AMC commercial. Like, we come to this place to laugh.
We come to this place to laugh.
Because you and I, we come to this place. And I was like, oh, is she gonna like for no reason at all?
No, I mean, I'm just saying like it's there. But with dating, it sucks because and I'm not good at small talk at all.
Nobody is, and nobody likes it. So why are we all doing it?
Yeah, let's just stop.
Big talk.
Stop. Big talk.
It's
I'm like,
so
do you
much
like your
more
mom?
Fun to hang out with
that was
someone
a fun
you have
date. Do you like your
rapport
mom?
with.
How's your mom doing? Oh, you hate her? Tell me why.
Okay, I was thinking different. You're just like
that was
really
a fun
aggressive
date.
therapist.
It's the Diet Coke. It's going crazy.
Sorry, I put my Diet Coke so far away from the mic. It's like also, can listeners, watchers, can you tell from the last 2 episodes that like I didn't like these 2 episodes? I have like no notes on them. Like I didn't enjoy the last 2 episodes, and it's a selfish reason. I feel like we all turn to these girls as like our own friends going through the struggle, and these last 2 episodes were not relatable to me. Like secret sex, it wasn't relatable to me. And so I was watching it kind of feeling like removed. Like I feel like there's other episodes where I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, I can tell you're kind of angry.
I'm just like the last 2 episodes, they didn't have me. They didn't have me.
Yeah. No.
Luckily, the girls were dressing better and there were so many new characters to distract me.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I wasn't blown away. I don't think secret sex and was episode 5, the power of female sex, like
episode 4. Yeah.
Episode 4, like the Valley of 27 Guys. I was like,
no, that was episode 3.
No, episode 4 was Valley of 27 Guys. Episode 5.
Oh, sorry. I'm like one behind.
Sex.
Okay. And then we're
episode
on 6
is secret sex. But like
that was amazing. That was such a good one.
Guys, I was like, I know these guys. Right. I've slept with these guys. I'm friends with these guys.
I haven't slept with the porn spanking guy. Although I do have someone who at my workout class liked me on Hinge, and now I see him every single day, and I didn't like him back, and he always gives me like the weirdest look, and I'm like, awful. I'm like, just stop. It's fine.
I had this guy who was an open micer who would come to the open mic I run all the time, and then this is when I was single. Obviously, he liked me on Hinge, and his whole Hinge page was like about like what he was into sexually, and like the pictures of like him in like some leather outfits. And I was like, and it's just so different from his like comedy and like the vibe. And I was like, obviously I didn't like him back, and then he never came to the mic again, obviously, because he had just shown me too much.
Can we just make it not weird? Like, we're all adults.
Also, like, there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with your fetish. There's something wrong with putting it on your profile.
No, no. That was weird. But I'm just saying, like, when people, like, my situation at the gym, it's like just whatever. Like, let's just
Be
work
cool.
out.
I don't like you.
I don't think you're that cute.
You're not. No,
But,
we're
like,
not
we
all gonna be
can-
batting 1,000.
You know, like I've seen so many people that I've liked that don't like me back, and I'm just like, you know,
And now
what? On
you're
to the next
experiencing
one.
that. So man up.
So it's like whatever. Like it's just like life.
Whenever I've like put a guy through at any point, something that men put women through all the time, like not texting them back or like forgetting to call or like canceling a date last minute, and they like spiral, I'm literally like, grow up. Like this has happened to you, what, once in your life? This happened to me like 3 times this week. Like
men are so hurt, and it's like literally you don't even know.
You don't
Like you don't even know.
You don't even know.
It's
no,
like
when men
it's like-
react to things that like I've probably dealt with, like starting at like the age of 11, like with rejection from other men, and then I like tell a guy whenever I've like broken up with a guy who's like really liked me, the way he's reacted, I'm like, the way if I ever reacted like that, you'd be like, you're nuts. She was crazy.
Yeah, she's
but
a
then
crazy
he reacts
bitch.
like that, and I'm like, okay, am I not supposed to like comfort him? I'm like, I don't feel bad. This is ridiculous. He's being crazy.
I mean, the most recent guy that I was dating that I had to cut things off with, he was like, I think I need some real space from you. Like after, and I said I didn't want to date him anymore. And I'm like, yeah, obviously that's why we just
You're
made
gonna
it.
get your
we just
space.
made an agreement that like we're not going to see each other anymore.
We're breaking up.
We're breaking up. And he's like, I need to like I really need. I'm going to take some space to like get the power back. I'm like, honey, I'm giving you the space. I left you in Queens.
We're done.
Like, let's go.
It's over.
It's over.
And also, like, I have the power. So is that
yeah.
gonna be okay?
So don't take
do
it back.
this.
Don't go back on
You're
it.
like, yeah, I put the space there. I have the power. Get out of my house.
That was mean that I just said I left you in Queens. That was mean.
I think it's okay.
It is what happened, but I
You feel bad about
do
it.
feel bad about it. I just realized in the moment, I was like, I cannot date this person.
Yeah.
And I gotta go right now. And it just so happens we're in Sunnyside.
Just so happen, as all the fairy tales go, we happen to be in Sunnyside.
He was like, I was like, I gotta go home right now. And he was like, what? Do you want me to go home with you? And I was like, no.
Yeah. You're like, no one says they need to go home right now because they also need you with them.
Yeah. I felt shitty. He was very sweet. I just, the whole thing. It's just too much.
Well, we're almost out of time.
We are almost out of time.
All I had really for this episode, the highlights were just like the debate about secret sex, and also just being like, Big is, I would be 20 times more insane if I was Carrie in this situation. But in my opinion, he really like, what if I was her, like I would have been all the way back in at the end. Like, I show up to your house drunk, make a drink in your home. You were asleep, right? I've woken you. And I rant to you about your problems, and you dismiss them all with like, quote unquote, valid reasons for them. And then you're like, so we're okay. And you just pick me up and carry me to bed. Like, I absolutely would have been like,
oh yeah,
I'm
no, I
all
would have
the
been
way
like
back
fine.
in.
But it's just, I didn't believe anything he was saying.
No. I that's why I feel for Carrie. I'm like, she likes him too much. She likes him too much that
she's not seeing any of his flaws.
She's not.
And
he should have been at that bus party.
I actually thought that was a little too soon.
Really?
I mean, they'd only been hanging out for like a couple of times. I wouldn't expect him to be at the bus.
Really? But it was like a career thing for her too. It wasn't just like a meet my friends. It was like but I guess what was they going to do? Stand there, see the bus?
I've been talking about this with a lot of my friends. Like, how quickly when you're dating someone, how quickly do you invite them to hang out with your friends? Because you don't want to give off the wrong impression. It's just like, it can get kind of confusing. You know what I mean?
Kind of.
Yeah. It's boring.
No, I'm trying to think. I'm like, Wolf and I had so many overlapping friends.
I think it's
from
different
comedy,
in comedy, but I'm
I'm
just
trying
saying,
to think
like,
back to like other dating situations.
Yeah.
I feel like I've never like questioned that. Like when there's a window to meet my friends that also lines up with when we're dating, I feel like I've never been like, is it too soon?
If it's a random that I met on an app, I need to like vet them like a lot before. But if it's someone that like people know, then it's fine.
It's like, come on.
But with the randoms, I'm like, okay, we gotta first just let me see your Vax card.
Now who thought you needed to ask for
And
that
you know
anymore?
what? He would have showed it to me. This is from the last episode. And he had a fake one. So I would have been like, hey, everyone, look at his Vax card.
Next thing you know, you have polio. Next thing you know. And just like that, you have polio. Did you like this episode?
I didn't love it. There are better episodes, and I'm excited to explore them in the future.
In my opinion, we did the best we could with what we were given.
We worked with what we got.
We worked with what we got compared to other episodes where they've really given us a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is hard. This episode was so Carrie Big.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, it's kind of more fun when all the girls have stuff going on.
Yeah.
Like
mainly when Samantha has something
when
going
Samantha,
on.
and
That's
I kind of like
best.
when Charlotte has stuff going on because it's always, she's always in a tizzy about stuff.
Yeah,
you
she
know?
is always in a tizzy.
I can't wait.
But I
for
didn't
when
like Neville.
I was like, I think it's not Neville.
Neville Morgan.
Her artist.
I didn't like that. Anyways.
Well, anyway, that was, my hair's like coming out of its clip. Look at this.
My hair's so dry
well,
right
that was
now.
episode 6. That was Secret Sex. I've been Hannah.
I've been Hannah.
We're
I've
trying.
been Nora.
We're trying something new every episode. We want to shout out My Friend's Basement, which is where we record our podcast, and we want to shout out Sean Curley, who wrote our intro and outro song. And I'm sorry if I had an attitude. I just think the girls can and they will do better. And I'm sorry if I can't champion for them when they're sleeping with toxic men and going through guys' porn.
Don't apologize. I love you, Hannah.
I love you, Nora.
Bye.